Well, hi everyone out there. I want to invite you to our 15-20 minute interview with a very special guest called Guy Leech. He is Australia's #1 fitness guy and was crowned 7-time World Ironman champion. And pretty much everything he's touched has turned to success. So I just want to get to the bottom of all of that. Welcome, Guy.
Welcome. Thank you. Nice
Thanks for
intro.
having. Yes, it's all true. It's all true. You've even got your own fitness products out there, and I know you've got some really exciting things in the pipeline as well for your brand. And I would love to know, and so would my viewers and readers, what you've done to become so successful and so passionate and so driven.
Look, I think anyone that has done a lot in any sector loves what they do. I think that for me, I've always been about health and fitness. It's been an important part of my life, and I suppose something that I wake up every day and want to do. And that started with sport, and I competed in Ironman races for a lot of years, and I wanted to be the best at that. And from when I retired from doing Ironman racing, I literally always wanted to help other people around health and fitness, and I learned so much
Mm.
during my days that I felt like I had a lot to offer. And so I think that when you start talking about success in that respect, I think length of time and knowing what you're about and where you're going and having goals and strategies and plans and being very honest with yourself in what you're doing are all pieces of the puzzle to gaining success and doing a lot. And I get out of bed every day loving what I do, and it just
Fantastic.
goes, and you get the results because of it. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I think that you've got a really interesting story, and maybe you could share with the viewers about when you were a child and you saw your dad go through some health issues, and I think that was a big motivator for you as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I suppose everyone can look back in their life and see defining moments when there's been something that sort of has changed you, I suppose, and you look back and say, that was a moment when this happened. Well, for me, it was, I was 12 years of age and was with my brother, and we're walking to a restaurant in the evening to go to dinner, and Dad had a heart attack in front of both my brother and I, and hit the deck and was unconscious. And
Wow.
I suppose, that day was it shaped my thinking. Dad survived. He had to have a quadruple bypass. He was only 42 years of age. And I think that what I learnt from that day was that lifestyle choices you make in your everyday life, pretty much decide what is going to happen to you down the track. And because of that and seeing it so vividly in front of me, it just meant that I wanted to not be in that situation. So I've done everything I can since then to give myself the best chance to be healthy and not have that happen to me.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess, the fitness and the sport came along with that. And then I guess for a lot of people, I think exercising and diet's a really important thing, but some people sometimes struggle with one or the other. What
Mm.
advice would you have for anyone who's sort of struggling with achieving weight loss goals or fitness goals?
But I think that I mean, look, I know I'm not perfect by any means, and I think that I can understand where someone can be super fit and exercise a lot, but then not have a great diet, and people can eat really well and not want to exercise. So I get what different people are like. I think that the important thing to remember is that for me and my experiences around wanting to do something and setting goals and having a plan, you've got to really look at the stage before that. And
Mm.
setting goals are well and good, but you need to find the reason why you're doing something, and you need to have something that's quite strong and something that means something to you. And I call it the why behind the goal. So for me, it was always about not wanting to be in a situation like my dad, and being healthy. And so it was quite a strong reason to go about what I was doing. So I think that for people out there, you've got to really find your why and what you're doing and why you want to do it, and then set a goal that's realistic to you, and it's your thing, and then from that, then set a plan around it. And I always saw myself as a healthy person, and deep down in my mind, believed that that's what I was, and so I acted like a healthy person. So when choices came about during the day, like, do I get out of bed early in the morning and do some exercise before the day starts? Well, yes, that's what a healthy person does. And do I go for the apple, or do I go for the lollies, when I'm snacking? And, a healthy person goes for the apple, and that's how I saw myself. And, it's done well for me, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And you're also quite lucky. I know you told me your story about when you started training with your coach, and he was having you set goals at the age of 9, was it?
Yeah, so, look, I had a swimming background. I was a swimmer before I did the Ironman sport, and got to, like, being a national champion for my age when I was 9, and loved swimming and the feeling of winning and training and the like. And so he actually pulled me aside after winning an event and said to me, "You're now ready to go and take this on board." And it was a logbook, and the logbook was set out so that at the front of the book you could put down your goals and your times for the season. Just give me 1 second. I know this is live, but my dog's at the door scratching, and I don't let him in. I keep scratching.
Bring the dog into the interview too. The more the merrier.
Come up here. Righto. So literally, the front of the book.
Can we have a look?
Can
we have a look at the dog?
There he is. Little Vegas. So anyway, so the goals at the front of the book were around the season, and on the other side of the page, the goals were around the next year. And so I had to write these times down, and my coach had another column where he would write down the times that he thought I could do. And they weren't the same. He thought I could do so much better than what I thought. And then I had to write down in the logbook my training session every day.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the week, rate out of 10 how I thought I trained to get closer to my goals. And then my coach would take the book back. He would then go and write down out of 10 what he thought I scored, and give me the book back on a Monday to start the next week. And I've got to tell you, for the first 4 or 5 months, my score out of 10 was 7, 8s, and 9s, and my coach's score for me on how he thought I was going was 5, 6s, and 7s. So he was like, so I always had an opinion that I was going better than what I was, and and it took me a while to really realise that I had more in me. I could stretch myself further, I could do more, and what I was capable of was a lot more than what I actually saw. So I learned that at the age of 9 and 10, and it's been a very powerful message for me across everything I do. And so I'm brutally honest with myself. I'm brutally honest with other people as well. And I've just learnt that unless you have a roadmap and an understanding of where you're going, you're rudderless. You don't create great things. And I also believe that what other people see as being unbelievable is not really unbelievable when you go and do these things correctly, because it's just part of what you do. And you just got to understand how to structure it in a way where you do a lot, where a lot of other people see it as being something that's near impossible, but it's not at all. Yeah.
No, I agree. And sometimes if those goals are broken down into little easy mini goals, or achievable goals, and break them down into smaller achievable steps, I think what does seem impossible can become possible. And
you need to see. I think there's a real strength in understanding every day, being at the little goals and the bigger ones, what you need to do to get to that next step. And so when someone says to you, should you do this or should you do that, or there is a yes or no answer to something, you're very certain about what the answer is because you've got everything laid out in front of you. So you don't waste time, you don't muck around. Every day you can sort of feel like you're moving forward because you've got it all laid out like a roadmap, like being in a car and having the, the satellite navigation on. It just makes 1 second. It just makes life very, very easy. And I think that, the message with that is that if you want to get clear, if you want to get certain in what you're doing, and you want to create some pretty amazing things, then doing that is the way about getting those results and those feelings inside.
Yeah, I agree. And having it written out and just seeing that every day is an amazingly powerful thing to do as well. And
Right.
do you also have a really cool sort of, I guess, what you probably call a mental checkup that you do on yourself sort of every quarter, where you sort of check in and you still use that rating system, don't you, of 1 to 10, how
So,
everything's going in your life?
yeah, yeah. So I learned that during my sporting career, being the best in the world at Ironman, that you weren't necessarily good across other aspects of your life. And I thought that once I retired from being a full-time athlete, that I wanted to get my whole world in order. And I thought the easiest way to do that was not unlike the logbook, but actually taking that concept of rating yourself out of 10 across the different segments of your life, being your health,
Yeah,
finances, your relationship, your family, these sort of things, was a really smart way of getting a gauge on just how you're going in all the
yeah,
different areas. And, you never ever 10s out of 10s across the board, but I try to come in at 7s and 8s out of 10 for those different areas of my world. And, if you're doing that, you create a sense of happiness across your life, and that's important because it's all well and good, achieving things, but you want to do it in a happy state as well. Yeah.
yeah. No, I think those are fantastic tips there, Guy. And where are we at? I think we're nearly almost at 15, 20 minutes. So
We can
I
do
know
that. We
you
can do this again in a couple of weeks' time. I've got so much more to tell you.
I know you have, which is why I was about to say let's definitely do this again, and I'd love to have you back, and we can share some more
Done.
gems with everybody. And I hope that everyone out there that's listening got some amazing tips from Guy, because honestly, I think anything that you've done in your life can be applied to anyone and everyone out there, whether it's fitness goals, health goals, diet goals, relationships,
Yeah.
family.
And we'll
Yeah.
talk a bit about food next time because your concepts around raw food and the like is something that I do. And I believe that, if you want to better yourself, whether it's losing weight or feeling good or all the rest of it, that, what you put in your mouth is such an important part of all of that. And, I've got my opinions and strategies around that eating piece, and I'm more than happy to share that next time.
I know, and I'd love for you to tell our viewers your story on your diet journey as well, because that's an
Yeah.
interesting one to do. Yeah. Well,
Good on you,
fantastic.
Amanda.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll look forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
you soon.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yes, bye.
Bye.